Don't forget to check out and grab your copy of our 2 newly released books, Football, a Love Story, and What Did Football Teach Me? These books feature over 100 stories from current and former coaches, players, executives, and entertainers from across the football landscape, describing what got them involved in the game, what they love about it, and what life lessons the game taught them. You can find your copy or order your copy from our website at footballgameplan.com/books.
Welcome to Football Game Plan's FCS Kickoff, presented by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and the long off season is over, and we have a lot of football to talk about as we kick off the 2016 FCS season. If you have been with us over the summer, and you should have, you've seen all of our conference preseason previews and All-American team, and now it's time to hit the field. And here's what we have on tap for this episode. We have a great interview with Stephen Gaither of HBCU Game Day, who has done an outstanding feature on North Carolina A&T's Tariq Cohen. He'll also get us up to speed on the landscape of HBCU football as we enter 2016. We will also unveil our preseason FCS Top 25, which I'm sure will get all positive reviews, and we'll have a preview of the only game on the schedule this week, the college football FCS Kickoff between Charleston Southern and the defending champs, North Dakota State. But first, let's get into our 4-minute offense and take a look at some of the key storylines as we head into this week. Villanova's head coach Andy Talley will be coaching his final season for the Wildcats, as he'll retire at the end of the season. And Coach Talley leaves Villanova after 32 remarkable seasons that include 221 victories, 6 conference championships, and a national title that he got in 2009. Now, Coach Talley started his head coaching career at St. Lawrence University, where he compiled a 28-18-1 record. North Dakota State will begin an unprecedented run for a 6th straight national championship, and it's hard to say that they don't have a legit chance to get back to Frisco, Texas. This team is just as strong as last year's squad, and despite losing Carson Wentz, new starting quarterback Easton Stick played a pivotal role in the Bison getting back to the title game, going a perfect 8-0 in his starts in Wentz's absence. This is a program that is no stranger to success, as the Bison have racked up 13 national championships dating back to their days in Division II and have an 8-3 record over FBS opponents, winning their last 5. This year they play the Iowa Hawkeyes, so we'll see if they can extend that streak to 6 as well. While North Dakota State gets all of the buzz, and rightfully so, there's a few other teams with a legit chance to get to Frisco, Texas this year. Chattanooga instantly jumps out as one of those squads. The Mocs are loaded on both sides of the lines of scrimmage and on the perimeter. The only question is at quarterback, where Alejandro Benefield replaces Jacob Huseman, who was a prolific player for the Mocs. Now, Benefield, however, may give this offense an added dimension, the deep passing game, which is something the Mocs lacked last season. You look at Richmond, Northern Iowa, even Colgate has a chance to find themselves at Toyota Stadium in January. The FBS has the Heisman Trophy. The FCS has the Walter Payton Award, which is given to the top player in the FCS. Some early candidates to keep an eye on are Chase Edmonds out of Fordham. The 5'9", 196-pound tailback has posted back-to-back 20-plus rushing touchdown seasons and has averaged over 6.4 yards a carry over the last 2 seasons, in which he has rushed for over 3,400 yards. He'll definitely be a finalist come season's end. Tariq Cohen of North Carolina A&T, the explosive back, rushed for nearly 300 yards in the Celebration Bowl victory over Alcorn State, and will definitely put up highlight reel plays each and every week. Cooper Kupp of Eastern Washington, he won the award last year and probably should already have 2 in his trophy case, but Kupp has been outstanding since stepping foot on campus. The 6'2", 205-pound senior from Yakima, Washington, has already captured the Jerry Rice Award, which is given to the top freshman in the FCS, and could walk away with 2 Payton Awards when it's all said and done. Here are some of the other top candidates that could bring home the Payton Award. Again, it's week 1, and we know as we go through the season, this list will start to shrink, as we'll have a good feel for who are the serious contenders for this award come January. We'll be back after this commercial break.
I think FCS presents such a great opportunity, you know, at a school like Fordham and the rest of the Patriot League schools to get the best of both worlds. You're talking about, you know, some of the top 60 academic institutions in the country. Combine that with, you know, full scholarship Division I football that's able to compete on a national level. I think, you know, from a recruiting standpoint and talking to other coaches, that's what we're identifying. We're identifying guys that academics and football are equally important. Not one more than the other, but truly equally important. I think that's the strength of FCS football, certainly in the Patriot League.
New York City is the largest market for broadcast media. It's the epicenter for the TV and radio industry. If you ever had a dream of working in the thrilling broadcast world, then make it a reality by going to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. CSB has helped numerous people get a job with hands-on training and a learn-by-doing mentality. You will learn all of the high-tech equipment in the TV and radio studios. From hosting your own radio show, to being a news or sports anchor, operating a camera in the TV studio, or editing audio and video, the choice is yours. Graduates from CSB have gone on to work at some of the major companies in the industry. To get more information, call 1-800-TV-RADIO or check us out at gocsb.com. Your road to success starts here at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Welcome back to the FCS Kickoff presented by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. We talked about North Carolina A&T's Tariq Cohen earlier in the show, and he's one of those premier players in the FCS. And I caught up with Stephen Gaither of HBCU Game Day, who talks about his feature on Cohen and the happenings around the HBCU landscape.
And I'm here on the line now with HBCU Game Day founder, Stephen Gaither. Stephen, again, thanks for taking time, man.
Hey, I appreciate you for having me on, Emery. It's always a pleasure. And anytime I can help you out, you know, it's always a pleasure.
Well, anytime, man. I mean, first of all, I don't think a lot of people understand what you guys have going on over there at HBCU Game Day. So why don't you tell the folks what is HBCU Game Day and what it's all about?
Well, yeah, HBCU Game Day is I say a website because I'm so used to that because that's how it started out, but it's actually we're a media company that focuses on covering HBCU sports culture at HBCUs. So, you know, that includes not only the sports, but actually the bands and the cheerleaders and all the things that make HBCU sports unique in the college, athletic landscape. So, yeah, been doing that this is going into our fifth football season, 4 years of our fifth football season, and, just having a blast myself, my partner, Tally Carr, and some other people around the country, just trying to bring some awareness to HBCUs and cover it really in a way that no one else is doing it. So that's kind of where we're going with that.
You do such a great job because you're all over the place as well. I mean, we chopped it up a bit down at the Celebration Bowl, and we recently saw each other at the MEAC Media Day. What were some of your takeaways from the MEAC Media Day 2016?
Well, you know, it's always a good chance to get back up and see all those faces. That means that football season is fast approaching, and I'm sure I know that's something that you know makes your heart feel good as well as mine. So always good to see faces and talk to people and reconnect with people. But yeah, I think MEAC Media Day this year. I think last year we came into it with people were kind of really on the fence with the Celebration Bowl. They were really trying to sell it to the media, and now this year you can see that everyone's a little bit more comfortable with it. They seem to have bought into that this is pretty much their Super Bowl. So, especially with Bethune-Cookman not making it to the playoffs last year when they thought they would be able to get in. So yeah, it was just everything was geared towards the Celebration Bowl. Everyone looking towards that. And, you got teams at the bottom, like your FAMUs and things like that are looking to try to get up. And you got teams like North Carolina A&T, North Carolina Central that are trying to stay on top and continue to assert themselves.
I mean, and you mentioned a great point, because you have a team like the Stone Brook, I mean, you have a team like North Carolina Central, even the SWAC. You have a team like Prairie View that felt as though they got snubbed for the FCS playoffs. Now, that speaks to me volumes of how talented the HBCU football landscape is, and you cover from the FCS level all the way down to the NAIA. So, what would you say is the state of HBCU football right now at this point?
Well, I think it's ever evolving, ever changing, just like the rest of college football. NAIA levels. I believe Langston was in the playoffs a couple years ago. And you got schools like Edward Waters under the leadership of legendary Shine Wyatt down there trying to build his program. And then you come up to the Division II level. You got the SIAC and the CIAA, and Division II level, the schools have been very competitive. I think 5 years in a row now. These two HBCUs have won at least one football game, and in most years, multiple football games. So that's definitely a big change from the FCS, where you've seen the SWAC go away from the playoffs, and you've seen the MEAC leave them behind the automatic qualifying bid. So Division II level, they're very competitive there. And then the FCS level, the Celebration Bowl has, kind of been a game changer. I think, like I said, I think teams are realizing right now that that's pretty much their Super Bowl. And I think that, they have, if you look at the way that people are starting to schedule now, you look at North Carolina A&T, they're basically loading up with 2 money games, and then they're going to play a CIAA Division II opponent in St. Aug. And you see that at a couple other schools, North Carolina Central. Now, South Carolina State is going to play all money games. So it looks like, people are kind of pretty much figuring out the playoffs really aren't going to be in the picture. It's either Celebration Bowl or a bust. So everyone's trying to build up their programs for that and, try to get as many of those money games as they can. So that's kind of where they are at the FCS level.
Now, obviously, we are here today not only to talk to you about the HBCU landscape, but because you did a great interview. You have a real great feature segment coming out, and part 1 is already out on Tariq Cohen, the outstanding tailback for North Carolina A&T. What is it about Tariq Cohen, and why is his story so unique, and why did you feel it needed to be told?
Yeah, well, Tariq Cohen, like I said, a lot of people, like we said in the piece, a lot of people only knew, prior to last year, only really knew him, but this time last year, they only knew him for doing the flips and being on ESPN, which was a great thing. It was a great way to promote himself as not only an HBCU football player, but as an FCS player that they don't really get the type of recognition that the big-time guys do. So that was great for him, but, last year in the Celebration Bowl, people got a chance to really see him as a football player, That was one of the times where, the people always make their argument exposure. He got a lot of exposure in that game because that was the first kickoff game of the bowl game season. And, they had really great ratings for that game. So that was a perfect showcase for him. And we saw him, run all over Alcorn State, almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. And but even before that, we've been following his career as he's progressed, He's a young man, smaller stature like myself. So I kind of took an immediate liking to him. He's only 5'6", all muscle, but just a thoroughbred athlete. And, he's come up, every year. He broke his, started off his freshman year not starting, and then came up to lead the MEAC in rushing. Sophomore and junior years, man, he's just been even better, even though everyone knows he's getting the ball all the time. So, more than that, like I said, he's just a guy, has a lot of personality. You meet him, and he's a guy that I don't think that I've ever met anyone that's met him that dislikes him or has anything bad to say about him. And, when you are a star and you get that type of attention, it's kind of hard to find those type of guys, but I think he stays really grounded. And so that's why we took everyone to his hometown to meet his family and kind of see where that came from.
That's awesome stuff, man. Again, part 1 was amazing, and I can't wait to see part 2, part 3, part 4, whatever you guys have planned with those interviews, because in that feature, because it's just awesome video, it's awesome interviews. You guys do a great job. And where can people find this interview and find more information about HBCU Game Day?
Right. Well, you can definitely go to HBCUGameDay.com just in general to keep up with news, but definitely would like everyone to go like our Facebook page. That's where we put a lot of our original content as far as video. We ramped that up in the past couple of years, so we're going to have interviews, previews of games during the season. Of course, highlights and things like that. So definitely, it's 2 words on Facebook, HBCU Game Day, and definitely on Twitter and Instagram, all together, HBCU Game Day.
We'll take a quick commercial break and be back with more of the FCS Kickoff.
I think that the main reason to choose HBCU is for the family atmosphere. The guys are going to get the core values that their parents taught them, that their family members tried to raise them. You'll have a close-knit atmosphere. You'll actually have guys that care about you as a person. So I think that's the main reason for choosing the HBCU. I think you choose FCS to have an opportunity to play. You're going to play a lot of good football in FCS. FCS has some great football teams, but you also have an opportunity to get on the field first and get on the field faster and play a great brand of football.
One thing that we all know is that people love lists, which is why I fully expect to receive nothing but love and praise as we unveil our preseason FCS Top 25. Now, before we jump into the rankings, here are some of the teams that just missed the cut. We'll call this group of teams sleepers, as I think they have a chance to have really good seasons, even pulling off an upset or two that could catapult them into the top 25. The Blue Hens of Delaware looks like a team that's ready to regain their place amongst the top in the FCS. The Blue Hens are loaded in the backfield and on defense, and any improvements made by either quarterback could yield big-time results in the CAA. The next group of teams will just say that they just missed the cut. These are teams that would rank 26 through 30. Some strong squads here like North Carolina Central, Dayton, and Harvard. Montana is another team that comes into the season flying under the radar, but they have a talented quarterback in Brady Gustafson and a wide open offensive attack, which will give them a shot in all of their games. Now, how quickly can this defense come around could ultimately determine how high they rise in the rankings. Now we move into the top 25, starting with the Eastern Washington Eagles. The passing game is what gets your attention here, as the combination of Jordan West and Cooper Kupp is going to put up spectacular numbers this season. The defense, especially the defensive line, led by Samson Ebukam, returns 9 starters and should be very stout up front. Now, the biggest question will fall along the offensive line, which has to replace some key contributors. But looking at 24 through 20, it's a good mix of styles here, as you have the spread offense of New Hampshire, Alabama State, and Northern Arizona, along with the brute point of attack strength of South Dakota State and a spread option flurry in James Madison that they bring to the table. And I would say that these are the teams that no one wants to face each and every week. 15 through 19 features teams that have a strong run game foundation like Towson, Charleston Southern, Mercer, and North Carolina A&T. The Penn Quakers are the most balanced team out of this group, but they do boast 2 talented tailbacks of their own in Trey Solomon and Brian Schoenauer. Dynamic duo combined for over 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns last year. Quarterback Alex Torgerson is the next pro-level type passer to come out of the Ivy League and should connect with All-American receiver Justin Watson on many passes this upcoming year. When you look at 11 through 14, you start to see teams that can beat you in many different ways. And I'm a big fan of balanced offensive attacks and opportunistic defenses. Keep an eye on the Vikings of Portland State, who are coming off a season where they shocked a lot of pundits and Big Sky opponents in the process. Senior quarterback Alex Caressa is back in the fold after tossing 17 touchdown passes, and defensive back Xavier Coleman is one of the best in the FCS and is also a legit pro prospect. 6 through 10, you start to get stronger in the trenches. This goes without say for any football team at any level. If you're built well along the line of scrimmage, you're going to be very tough to beat. The Fighting Eagles of North Dakota fit that mantra to a T. I think they have the best defense in the Big Sky Conference, which is saying something. North Dakota also boasts an all-purpose All-American in John Santiago that can kill you as a runner, a receiver, and also as a kickoff returner. No one wants to face the option attack, and the Citadel is one of the best in the FCS to do it. Not only do they have a well-oiled offensive attack, defensively, I think they're amongst the best in the country. Defensive back Dee Delaney is an All-American that picked off 7 passes last year. Fullback Tyler Renew is another All-American who was a big reason why the Bulldogs knocked off the South Carolina Gamecocks last year in Columbia, South Carolina. Now we've reached the top 5, and these are your serious national title contenders, at least in my opinion, at this very early juncture of the season. At number 5, Northern Iowa boasts one of the best defenses in the FCS, led by defensive lineman Carter Schultz and a quarterback in Aaron Bailey that rushed for over 1,400 yards last season. Look for his passing numbers to improve, which will make their already deadly offense even better. I think they pose a serious threat to their conference mate, North Dakota State. 4th are the William & Mary Tribe. Head coach Jimmy Laycock is entering his 37th season at the helm and has only posted 9 losing seasons in that stretch. The Tribe are coming off a 9-4 campaign and returned the bulk of their key contributors. Despite losing NFL players in safety DeAndre Houston-Carson and linebacker Luke Rhodes, the Tribe will still be one of the better defenses in the FCS. Look for running back Kendall Anderson to push for many postseason honors, as he's another one of those Walter Payton Award sleepers to keep an eye on. Another Colonial Athletic Association squad makes the list as the Richmond Spiders check in at number 3. And what I like about Richmond is that they have the speed and athleticism at every level. Their secondary is top-notch and maybe the best in the FCS. All-American David Jones can play any one of the 4 spots on the back end and excel equally. And Richmond has a chance to make a big-time statement in Week 1 as they open up in Charlottesville against the Virginia Cavaliers. I can go on and on about the Chattanooga Mocs as they rank number 2 in our preseason poll. The Mocs, in my opinion, are this year's version of Jacksonville State. This is a team that has minimal holes on their roster, and like we've talked about earlier, the only concern is at quarterback, as they are breaking in a new player in Alejandro Benefield. But he's a big-time talent, and there shouldn't be any drop-off on that side of the ball. Defensively, keep an eye on the defensive line led by Keonta Davis. The Mocs will be difficult to move the football against throughout the course of the season. And finally, at number 1, North Dakota State. What I like about the Bison is that they consistently challenge themselves. They do not rest on their past laurels, and it's a major reason why they're gunning for their 6th straight national title. Easton Stick is coming off an outstanding freshman campaign, battle-tested and ready to lead the green and yellow for the entire season. Can he carry on the tradition in Fargo and lead his team to Frisco? Well, he kind of sort of did that last year, so I say the answer is a resounding yes. So we'll take a quick break and come back to break down the only game on the schedule this week between North Dakota State and Charleston Southern.
New York City, the media capital of the world. But in America, there is a world of media at our fingertips, from coast to coast. The broadcast media industry connects us in so many ways and remains on the cutting edge of providing us news and entertainment. Have you ever pictured yourself working in the media? Did you ever dream of working in TV or on the radio? Make your dreams come true today. Connecticut School of Broadcasting is the oldest and largest group of communication schools in the country. At Connecticut School of Broadcasting, you'll learn by doing with hands-on training straight from professional broadcasters. There is job placement assistance for graduates, day and evening courses available. Graduate and get into the job market in only 8 or 16 weeks. Don't waste another second daydreaming about what you want to do with your life. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO and start living your dream today.
Welcome back to the FCS Kickoff. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and it's now time to take a look at the game of the week, albeit the only game of the week. college football FCS kickoff matchup between North Dakota State and Charleston Southern. Now, the Buccaneers made a deep run into the playoffs last year, and I think their offensive style can help them get a jump on the Bison. So let's go inside the lab in Hunt's playbook to hit the whiteboard to find out how. Remember, it's all about getting up on North Dakota State quickly, and I think when you look at Charleston Southern and their offensive attack, sort of a spread option attack, I'm going to show you how they can do so with a quick hitter, a direct snap to the tailback. Show you what we're talking about here. We have their shotgun set. They love to set up in this situation. 2 backs in the backfield, 1 quarterback, spread the field, and you're going to walk that backer out this way. So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in the box, 5 guys up front, free blocker. So you can get 6 on 6, which is optimum for this particular play we're going to draw up. And what we're going to do is try to hit it here because we see leverage, defensive leverage on this side because we have 2 receivers here. So you're going to walk that backer out. Safety's going to get over top this backer, and the cornerback is also going to be on this side. So again, weak side offense, we have 1, 2, 2.5 because he's close to the middle of the field. So this is where we want to attack the football. And what we're going to do is direct snap it to the tailback on the right side. He's going to hit it up between his A and B gap wherever he sees fit. So what we want to do over here, we want to show protection here, influence this guy up the field, and he's going to work up and get next threat. We're going to have these 2 guys combo. Guard is going to work backside to the backer, kick him out here. You're going to influence. You want him to come upfield. Want these guys to come upfield, influence, move and go get next threat. Boom, he's blocking here. He's blocking there. If he sees the safety creeping up, he can take him here. Now, what we want to do is try to get flow going this way. And one way we can do that as we direct snap it to the tailback, we're going to have the quarterback show action as if he's going out this way. That's going to, for sure, lock out this 3 technique and his defensive end. They're going to come outside. They're going to chase hard. This guy's going to step this way. He's going to step that way. And now we have this back leading right up in the hole. Because, again, as we influence, block this defensive end, invite him upfield, release him going back to next threat. Tailback's going up in the hole. Direct snap to the opposite tailback. Now, he can read it either. He's going to hit it here, how quickly they can wash this guy out of the way, or he can bounce it up here right behind his tailback here, and he's off to the races and make that guy miss. But again, it's up to Charleston Southern to find ways to get up quickly on North Dakota State. And this is one of those quick hitters out the shotgun that they can utilize. So now let's go inside the film room to take a look at what North Dakota State does up front and why they have a lot of success.
A big reason why North Dakota State is so dominant up front is in their ability to explode off the ball. And you'll see a great example of this in last year's game versus North Dakota. The reason why this is critical is because it allows you as a player to get your hands on your opponent first. And any coach will tell you first hands win 9 times out of 10. And this is just a simple zone play, and the Bison offensive line wins the first hands battle, which instantly puts them in a position of control, which allows some of them to effectively pass guys off and climb to the next level. And as a former running back, you like to see this up front because it allows you the opportunity to be patient, stay on track, and ultimately pick the best hole to run through. Now, this is a masterful job done up front by the offensive line. If the Bison can execute like this versus a very good Charleston Southern defensive line, they'll be very tough to beat. Now, let's take a look at my keys to victory for both teams in this matchup, starting with Charleston Southern. And I believe the biggest thing for the Bucs in this ball game, they have to make the Bison chase them, not only just on the field in that option attack, but also on the scoreboard. So it's going to be imperative that they get off to an early start, both defensively, offensively, and being able to put points up on the board. And that ties right into my second point. You have to avoid those wasteful opportunities. If you have an opportunity defensively to get a stop on third down or pick a ball off, or on offense inside the red zone getting points up on the board, you have to take advantage. You can't waste opportunities when you're facing the 5-time defending national champs. Now, they also have to take the line of scrimmage very personally. North Dakota State will come into this ball game and try to lean on that defensive line of Charleston Southern and try to reset the line of scrimmage on the defensive side of football. So if the Bucs can win up front on both sides, I think they have talent out on the flanks to win the game. And for the Bison in this matchup, I think it's simply playing your game can help lead them to victory. When you look at what they do well, they're able to run the football extremely well. They operate well off play action. They take their shots short, intermediate, and timely shots deep down the field. off that running game. Play your game. Don't try to get cute or creative in the opener. I think that could help them win this matchup. Also, early defensive stops versus an option team is going to be huge. That allows you to take those possessions away, which puts them at a disadvantage, and they're going to be forced to play catch up. So early defensive stops in this matchup could ultimately help these guys out in the long term. In alignment, assignment, and execution, read your keys, do your assignment. Don't try to be a hero, otherwise you'll get gashed by big plays from that option attack.
I like North Dakota State in this ball game. Styles make fights, and I think this one will ultimately come down to NDSU's ability to control the line of scrimmage. If the Bucks can't make it a track meet early on, they'll have to stand there and go toe-to-toe with a heavyweight. In the end, the Bison will be able to control the line of scrimmage, which in turn will help them control the clock and eventually win them the game. I like the Bison.
The FCS, in my mind, is the greatest level of football in the country. It doesn't necessarily always have the resources, the glitz, the glamour of the FBS level, but the FCS is a level that I think plays outstanding football. It's extremely competitive. It plays to a national champion at the end in a tournament format, and I think the experience of aiming for that championship is something that you can't get on any other level.
So that's it for this week's edition of the FCS Kickoff. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media accounts, and don't forget to check out the FCS Opening Drive podcast on iTunes.